Okay, I think this is live. Now I gotta start pinging some people so that they know what's happening. Okay. Oh right, that's that rip that has that. My bad. Let's play it again. I'm getting people in here, okay? I'm waiting because I usually don't have very many people in the first few minutes of my streams. But that's okay, this seems reasonable. Let's let's get started. Okay. Is my mic reasonable? Last time it was too quiet, so I just reset it to like 0 in OBS. Like is my voice at a reasonable audio level compared to here, I'll put in this piece of audio. I'll talk over some music and see if it sounds okay. Talking over this music. Let's see if this sounds okay. Sound fine? Does this sound okay? Does this sound okay? Does this sound okay? Okay. That's funny. Um, Whoa. And it's like completely redding out on my OBS. That's hilarious. Okay, I'll turn that way down. Sorry. that better? Is that reasonable? I mean, like, I'll probably have it lower than that, too, on my own thing. Is this... This has gotta be fine now, right? If I turn it down a little bit. Is this okay? I'm turning it down separately on OBS. I realize I probably won't be messing with every audio level of an individual clip, but like, so I turned it down on right now on OBS. It's like -10, -11-ish. Okay, all right, we're chilling. Okay, so to show off this, I'm just gonna be screwing around with different features, and to show off, I had some people send me pictures. So let's get some pictures in here. This is Adobe After Effects, by the way. Let's throw in this puppy. And now let's get a background. Let's get a good background going. I'm looking through my files right now. What's a good background? This is a crap background, but let's do it anyway. Okay. So these are your layers. Yeah, you can, I think you guessed correctly who sent this picture in. These are your layers. I'm going to put this layer below the puppy. And now you can barely see it. It's like you can see a little bit on the edges. Let's make it bigger. So let's open it up and go to scale. And I can just crank up the scale. But wait, it's not the right aspect ratio. So let's unlink the scale and do this. That seems okay. Actually, I'm gonna do the thing where you can fit to the comp. There we go. Perfect scale. Okay. So as you can see, and I'll open up the one for the puppy too. There's anchor point, position, scale, rotation, and opacity. Some of these might be like more obvious than others what they do. If I move around the puppy, you can see the position numbers are changing. I change the numbers. It's the puppy's position. I change the scale. Same thing I just showed. I change the rotation. It's pretty obvious what this does. Opacity. You might not have known what that word means, but now you do. Anchor point is like where the other stuff is applied around. So if I move the anchor point to like the puppy here, and then I do rotation, see how he's spinning around that spot? And then if I like put it on his head, he spins around that spot, or scales around that spot, or whatever. You can see that. Let's reset these. Important thing to understand, obviously, is animation, because this is a program for doing that. And animation works like by keyframes. So I'll make a keyframe at this point, which is like 0 seconds in, 0 frames in. And then I'll go forward a little bit, make another keyframe, and we'll move the puppy to the right. And you can see if I play it back, we just made an animation. Ain't that cool? And you can do that for any amount of, we can do it for the scale, we can do it for the rotation. See how I did 1 times 0? That will make him spin a full rotation once and then go there. If I did 1 times and then 90, he'll spin once and then like, there you go. Pretty cool. Opacity, I can also do this. I could, well, let's actually make it happen when he goes into the explosion. You saw how it lagged a little bit. Yeah, that's because, I mean, it's rendering all of this live. If I did something complicated, I might want to like change my preview to be like half or even quarter resolution copies of the layers so that it runs faster. So much to say. Something else I can show is time stretching, this is important. These columns right here on your like layer area, you can turn off and on a bunch of different switches that are very useful. Like this mode for blending modes. If you know Photoshop or you do art, you might know something about these. I think they're like mathematical like kernels or some shit as to how to blend two layers together, but it's basically you can just I don't have to say it with words when you can see what's happening. At least see that different things are happening. Wow, that's funny. Look at that. It's basically just a face. I could, yeah, stretch. Can time stretch stuff. Set it to specific durations or a factor or whatever you want. Now it's going slowly. That works on videos too, of course. What's some other really basic stuff? Maybe I should get an MP4 file in here. Oh, I know what I should get. Give me a second. I'm loading it up here. Now we can talk about effects. I'm going to take an effect and I'm going to go keying linear color. Oh yeah, freeze frames. I can talk about time remapping next. Let's use this color key. That looks pretty bad because it's just the linear color key. I'm going to use the smart key light instead. There we go. I think he's 720p. So let's scale him up 150%. Oh, also, there's like keyboard shortcuts that are useful. Like if I press P, it opens up the position, just the position. Press S, scale. T, opacity. A is anchor point, I think. And then what was the other one? R is rotation. And other stuff too, like the audio. There's audio down here. If I press L, it opens up the audio levels. Double L opens up the waveform. Oh, motion tracking. I can get to that for sure. Yo, if someone who has me added could like DM me a picture or no, a video of them recording something in their room or like moving something around. I obviously could take that myself and I have videos, but it would be cool to use someone else's so that I can motion track things onto later. Yeah, that slowed down just because of a preview. It's like it's slowing down so they can keep up. Motion tracking onto cat would be a little hard. Bro, I'm no Captain Disillusion here. Okay, what was I gonna show next? Well, there's time remapping that I could show. There's motion tracking. I should write these down. I'm gonna write them down. The things that to show off. Time remap. Motion tracking. What was the other thing? Well, I'll think of it as I do this. Time remapping is such a crazy part of After Effects. You basically can keyframe the time. So like if I go, you see how this, do you see over here how this like it's showing the current frame that it's at once I enabled time remapping? Well, if I make a keyframe here, then it's a keyframe telling it that to be at 4 seconds. So right now it's exactly the same, but if I move this to be back in time. Wait, I should use audio to make it clear. It's here, this audio will actually make this more obvious. It's a way to move around time and compress time, and it works for reversing or all sorts of things. And it also works very nicely for freeze frames. But I should show what a hold keyframe is first before I do that. Hold keyframe. If I'm doing this, but I wanted, let's remove the opacity of keyframes. So if I wanted the puppy to just like stop and then snap to that other spot, I make this into a hold keyframe. So now it'll hold the position until, here I'll get rid of scale and rotation so it's more obvious. That's what a hold keyframe is. It holds it instead of making a smooth transition. So let's time remapping, I can do the same thing. I just make a hold keyframe and it holds that time, and so it will freeze frame. The annoying thing is that it's like you can kind of see it in the waveform. It's like it thinks the audio is being extended across like a whole length of time for some reason, so you can hear an audible click. Yeah, I'll definitely keep the VOD up. Come on, let's play this back. So, see how it's not playing it back? It just needed a second to breathe, I guess. Yeah, that click. Okay, I don't care. So I usually have to like keyframe the audio levels, which this is also a good thing to know. Just like if you want to do a fade out or something, you can do that. I usually have to keyframe the audio levels down just before this. Can you map a keyed value to a text element? 100%. I should definitely show that. Keyed value to element expression. Here, and I think I'll add my to-do list to the stream so that you can see when I'm adding those. Give me a brief moment. Let's do window capture, and let's choose the text file I got open and turn that on. Cool. Put that in a less. Okay. And I'll show you how to do that too. Let me see if anyone messaged me with a video. Okay, Bruno did. And so did Sarv. We'll download both of these. I'm gonna make it, I mean, I should explain this stuff. Like, there's compositions, right? Which are basically just a set of, like, a timeline that you have things in. And you can make separate compositions, which are completely separate timelines that may have other things going on. Like, let me get more of the images that I had sent in. Let's get one. Like, this is a completely separate timeline than this. But you can put compositions in other compositions, which is the basis of how all of this kind of works. I'm making just a solid color. Hold on. So like I can put this one in that one. Note that it will not let you do it recursively. Like if I tried to put, I have comp 2 inside comp 1 now. If I try to put comp 1 in there, it just doesn't let you. It knows that will create an infinite impossible loop. Anyway, what's next up? Motion tracking. Let's get Bruno's video in here. Let's watch it. Did you just take this? I don't know why you would be recording this if you hadn't just taken it. So, okay. This is I just press the track camera button and hope that it works. And if I don't, then it'll have to be a 2D track. I think there's like better trackers than the built-in one, but like this one works pretty okay. Wait, no, I remember now what I was gonna show, and I have to explain this before I explain this magic stuff. 3D. 3D in After Effects is It's wild how just built in it is. See how these, all you have to do is click this little cube on a layer, and now all of these have a third dimension, like a third, the position has 3 items. What's the word? 3 values. I don't care. And this is the value for depth. So now I'm moving it backwards. Or like now I already had Z rotation, but now I have Y rotation and X rotation. It's the Z axis. Yes. Dimensions. That one doesn't have a different dimension. It's genuinely that simple. And so I could animate it in 3D in like 5 seconds. Let's put these back, put this, spin this around a bit. Easy. Let's make this 3D too, and let's move it back. So, important thing for 3D is also the camera. If I add a camera layer, I can now move around the view of, where the camera is in this 3D space. I think if I press C, yeah, there's that shortcut. Super cool. I'm just pressing C at different combinations, like C to cycle through all these different camera tools. Now that helps me explain what's going to happen for this motion tracking, hopefully. What it's going to do is it's analyzing a bunch of different points in the background, and it's just going to make a camera that has position keyframes and rotation keyframes, and it's just moving around a space that it's guessing that it could be. And solving camera, hopefully this will work. Don't worry if it doesn't, sometimes it just doesn't. Yeah, it didn't work for this one. That's okay though. Truly, it's okay. If you wanted to make one that definitely would work, like pan it across, maybe like get close to a desk or something and like pan it across slowly. Let's see if this works. This is from Sarv. Let's put the track camera on. Yeah, I mean, if I could get a job as like an After Effects tutor, that would probably get me pretty set, I think. But I don't really know how to get onto something like that. Why is this not doing anything? Track camera, come on. There you go. Okay, let's put this inside a new comp from selection. I'm just going one layer up, I guess, and track camera. I don't get why this is doing this. Maybe it's because I get that unknown exception error I got before. Let's just, come on, man. It would be fun. It would be hilarious if it crashed on me there. So how are you all doing? How are you all doing today? You having fun? It doesn't really crash that much, which is why this is embarrassing. It's like it's showing its worst face right now. It really doesn't. I swear to God. Vegas is the undisputed king of crashing for no reason. This might just be like my memory or something. I'm gonna force quit it and reopen. Just made this 5 times in Vegas. Yeah, if you're talking about the crash. Okay, let's get this back. Oh, it already went back up. That's nice. That's convenient. Okay, well now it's working. I think maybe it was just some weird thing with like the that I already tracked another one and it didn't work or whatever. Camera tracker part is kind of magic. I don't really get it. But usually reopening fixes everything and it doesn't take that long. How do I pin a comment? Let's pin that. Almost done. This one better work. If it doesn't, I'm recording one right now. Okay. Now I just have to press create camera. Oh, look at all these little spots. Wow, that's quite cool. Very cool. Ooh, look at that. Let's get a good spot here. What's a good spot? Create solid. There we go. Okay. That already looks impressive, doesn't it? I put a blue square in Sarve Productions room. Let's see here. I could explain parenting first. That's a pretty fundamental thing. Parenting is basically where you parent something to another, so everything it does is relative to the other layer. So if I parent the Howard to the puppy, he'll move with the puppy. And that also he can still have his own, animations, but it'll all be relative to the puppy. Just that's a very basic thing. So what that means is that I can take something like the puppy and then let's make him a 3D object in here. He's probably way off camera because he's just at like 0.00, which is pretty arbitrary. Oh, that's funny. He's like floating in front of. Wow. That's wild, isn't it? But if I wanted to put him so that he's sitting on the blue square, then let's just parent him to the blue square and then just like reset all the transform points. So now he's just on it. And now all I have to do is just, which one of these let's do a 90-degree angle up. Let's bring him up, which could be any one of these, because it's just like making an arbitrary camera area out of this until he looks like he's sort of flush with it. Let's make him a little bigger. And let's disable the visibility of the track solid. So now, there he is. He has no reflections. Isn't that weird? Wait, actually, I could probably do that really easily. If I duplicate him, and then, oh, the anchor point thing that we talked about earlier. Can I do that easily in, okay, that might be a little annoying to drag in. Let's just do this. 898. Let's move, let's actually get rid of that. Let's move this down again. And now let's duplicate him and let's rotate the other one 90, 180 I mean, but not like that. Like, I guess I could just flip him using scale. Multiple ways to do this. And now, how does a reflection look? Think about it. It looks, well, we can look at this. It looks lighter and it looks blurrier. So let's turn up the blurriness and turn up the lightness a little bit. And let's also make it like sort of subtly fade as it gets out. Oh, but I didn't explain Matt. That already looks kind of real, but not really. Like, it's a kind of a cheap illusion. Maybe if I made him a little... I'm trying to do this without using a mask because I haven't explained mask, but I should. Let's put that in the thing. Isn't that cool though? Like that looks pretty okay. I've never done specifically that before. Yeah, I mean this is a super cheap way to do it. I'll show what I mean by masking though. It basically is uh here I'll make a mask out of this cat's head. And there you go. And I can feather it so the edges are faded, or I can expand it in and out. I never really got why that was useful. Can make it subtract, so it's a subtracting mask, or intersect, I don't really get that, but add, or all sorts of things. I can also animate the mask path itself by creating keyframes, so that if I do this, you can kind of see how that would be useful. It's useful for like, let's make a new mask just over everything, and let's open up free transform points. Let's do like something like this. Useful for doing just a quick and cheap fade. Like, there we go. Is this too low? What do I have going on here? Like that. Look at that. So I could probably do something similar on this where I fade the opacity out. And like there's like you shouldn't be able to see things behind, like the reflection of an object you shouldn't be seeing that part of the table behind the dog. That's not how reflections work. But this is like a really cheap way to do it. Oh yeah, you use that in the Vover Halloween bit. I did a video like Rip on Sleep, I think, that is using motion tracking too on just some piece of ground. Let's feather this out like very lightly. I guess that added a little bit of, you still shouldn't be able to see him through it. There's ways to get around that, but I don't really want to bother here. But yeah, that's motion tracking. It's pretty magical, to be honest. This kind of works because he never puts his hand, like, okay, now that doesn't really work, but like, isn't that cool? What's next? Map key value. Oh, we're gonna get into expressions. Expressions are so cool. Let's make a text layer. Text works how you would expect if you've ever used a program where you ever created something. Yo, hands up if you make things. Hands up if you've ever created like a piece of media or like expressed yourself through a medium. And hands down if you haven't, but let me know. That counts. I know you make music. That's what your name says. So 123ZC was saying, what if I wanted to like know if I wanted to like show the position of this? That would be weird. I can use an expression. After Effects has expressions which are actual like pieces of JavaScript code that you can write for any value that can do all sorts of fun things. For example, I could make it so that the opacity, or actually the rotation, is the current time times 10. Wait, let me take away that. And now it will just keep spinning because it's setting the rotation to be the time times 10. Time is a great like beginner variable to understand because you can see it moving. Or I could do that in the scale, although the scale has 2 dimensions going on, so I have to put it in like this. Very cool. You can also put other things in. I could make like, if I wanted to animate the opacity for this, and then I just use this little thing to like take its opacity. It'll create a little expression that says, look at the other solid and use its opacity. Very powerful stuff. You can do a lot of fun stuff with it. And I can show you the thing you asked about the text. So I could make the text of this show the opacity. It's 100. Oh, that's funny. Look at that. Let's maybe round down this with a little bit of JavaScript, which is just math.round. Yeah. Yeah, it's just JavaScript. Well, with like its own little things to make it work with the After Effects stuff, but all this syntax is basically JavaScript. Now I can do interesting stuff with that, like let's say okay, hands up if you know what a modulo is in math. Hands down if you don't know. I'm gonna explain it, but I'm just wondering. Like a modulo, like a modulator or a mod. Do any of you know that? I'm gonna wait until we have someone that doesn't. I'm just gonna sit here until we have someone who doesn't know what a modulo is in math, which isn't a bad thing because I actually learned it pretty recently. Okay, Peep doesn't know. That's good enough. It basically just means what's the remainder when you divide something by another thing. So like if I did like 13 mod 10, I would just get 3. And why that's important is because, wow, I can demonstrate it very easily here. If I have like, I can make something loop through an amount. So a modulo is represented by a percent. And if I do percent out of 10, and I change the number here. So, okay, let's say I start with 0. I go to 1, 2, 3, 4. On my left is the original number, and on my right is the modulo of 10. 9. It loops back to 0 when it's 10. See? And if it's 12, it's 2. So it loops through the digits. That's pretty good. If I do modulo of 8, it loops through the digits of 8. It's the remainder, division. And that's useful for all sorts of things. Like if I wanted to write, let's do, okay, value 0, which is just the first value, which is this. Get used, if you're ever going to do a CS, computer science, anything, get used to zeroth being the first thing. You shouldn't, actually, we shouldn't even be saying first. Just get used to looking at the zeroth thing to start off. This is an expression that does nothing. It just uses the ones that are already there. But if I do value 0, let's say like mod 200, it'll just start looping through that. Because, yeah, unless you're... See? Pretty simple. I mean, like, does this make sense, what's happening here? It takes, like, see, it's at, like, 12,000, and then it divides it by... It's at, like, 12,020, and then it takes away all the 200s it can, and is left with just 20. So that's what it's trying to show. I'm not going to rate your edit. I don't care, bro. This is not what we're here for. DaVinci Resolve is cool and all, but I mean, this program, I'm just saying. What other things can I show before I get into like what would I use mod for? Well, something like that. Or I would use it for like, what was that thing I used it for recently? Oh, this would be cool to show. And if you can guess what this is leading into, you win nothing. Yeah, people can look at your edit if you want, but like this is my stream where I'm showing off After Effects, so I don't need to rate your edit, bro. This is my way of respecting beginner editors because I'm showing them how to use the one program I know how to use. Anyway, I'm thinking what would be a fun thing to show. Let's mod this by 10 and see what happens. Oh, wait, I gotta do the first value and then the second value. Goofy. Oh, wait, let's do, interesting. Okay, or how about 1000? And then just thinking, Okay, let's make this is getting into like programming almost, because that's like the real power of After Effects is that you can do stuff like this. But I swear it's not like, it's not that crazy. It's just like, okay, let's take this, and this is just a number that I'll be able to change. And I want to make it so it's like a sort of tile system. Like if I go, because this is like 10 spots, and if I go to, actually, this will be much easier to understand if I make a grid. So let's do that. I don't care how ugly this color contrast is. Okay. Wow, that already started me out with 10 by 10. Perfect. So, okay. Let's take, let me think this out here. Okay, if it's gonna be, oh, I know. Okay. Take that slider, multiply it by 10. Is that my unit, or was it 100? Wait, no. It was definitely 100 because I have like 1,000 by 1,000. Okay, there we go. There we go. See this? See this? Let's put that on a mod of 10. Or sorry, no, my bad, y'all. 1000. That's the, wait. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. Now, let's, if I want to, okay, let's say if it was at like, how I take the part that's not the remainder is I do the normal one minus the remainder. That should be right. Temp times 100 minus, let's do that and see what happens. Oh, right, and then divide all that by 10. Yes, okay, see here? So now I just like am cycling through. And I can animate that. I can even make this snap to absolute values. So if I do math.round and then just its own value. What? Wait, why did I do that? It's just value because there's no second one. Yeah. So now I made it, I can tell it to go to the 40th spot and then it will just do that. It will loop through the values, take the remainder, and also change the y to, you know, hopefully that makes sense. I know it's getting a little heady here, but like it's useful stuff. And I have made it 2048. I should show, before I get into what I was really gonna show, pixel art in After Effects is so fun and easy to do. I have like 4 pixel art images that someone gave me. So let's get them in here. Wow, that looks like shit. That looks so blurry. Let's just flick this. Oh wait. Okay, that wasn't what I, okay. Uh it doesn't look blurry anymore, but just trust me that you want to change this. Pixel art in After Effects is not very hard because you can do something like that. And let's say I wanted to like, I'll show why the thing I said earlier was important. You can see it like blurring when it's moving. If I do draft mode, yeah, it changes it to draft. It's basically an aliasing button, yeah. And it will have it'd be nice and clean. Snap to pixels, which is like super important if you're making a any sort of type of pixel art video. Like, okay, I'm just looking up come on. I'm looking up where I posted something in another server. Give me a second. In the meantime, I'll put this in. That's way too big. Let's make that smaller. Was that too small? Yes, it was. But we can fix that. We can fix why it looks like that. There we go. Found it. Okay. Oh, wait. Why did I even need to look this up? This is the simplest shit. Okay. It's just an expression that rounds the position value. So like if it has a decimal at the end and that doesn't make sense for it being pixel art, we can do math.round value 0, math.round value 1. And now we'll round the values. That and just changing it to draft is basically all you need to know for making like any sort of pixel art animation in After Effects. See how it's snapping nicely like in the video games. Oh, I should show this, obviously. Curving or easing. Let's make this into, I can do easy ease in a second, but let's make this a Bezier curve. So now even though there's 2 keyframes, I can curve the way it transitions between the keyframes. See that? I can make this one into Bezier 2, which basically means curve if you don't look into it very hard. Now there's 2 nice smooth curves. If I go back here, let's make this dog have a curve on the spatial part. Cool. What you might have noticed is that you can set this for spatial interpolation, but also temporal, how a property changes over time. So that means I can curve the way it changes over time, which means I can make smooth, and let's set both of these to just, it basically does what I just did. It's just a preset. See that smooth slide in? That's because it's curving the speed or curving the time or whatever. I don't really have to understand it very well to get how it works. But if you want to understand it, there's a graph editor where the y dimension is the pixels per second and the x dimension is your seconds. So I'm just saying I could change how the curve reacts, how the speed, like the speed of the easing. Yeah, when you start stacking curves and then getting into all those weird things like jerk and I just remember jerk because the name stuck out to me. Yeah, it's like double acceleration, rate of acceleration changes jerk, and then rate of like look at this shit. Let me get it on screen. Yeah, it can be weird about that. More than one curve drifts between them. Maybe you can fix that with like cold keyframes. I don't really know. You don't have to understand this. I just think it's funny. But anyway, that's a lot of the basics. Let's do something fun. Let's open up the Game with Rabbit Fusion Collab project file. Woo! Yeah, it's calculus, and I'm underplaying how much I know about that, but I'm trying not to explain calculus in this stream. So, y'all should watch this video because I made the video. This uses basically all the same concepts. Well, okay, some of it's kind of crazy, but for example, a piece. What I have the math in here is just making it so that when it moves, come on. Or no, I didn't want to do that. When it moves, it snaps to a grid spot and I can take it off grid too. It snaps to a grid spot. And the grids are like, they're like 18 by 20 tiles. So you can see the 18 here and the 20. I think this is actually before I knew about modulation, so it's doing a really dumb thing where I divide it by 20, then round it, and then multiply it by 20 again. It has the same effect though. And the +15 and the +9 are just to like align it correctly with like the top left of the screen. Like if I took them out, it would snap in the same way, but just like, you know, off. That's the case for all of the tiles in this video. And if I go and show what's happening with one of these flipping pieces, this flipping piece animation is its own composition, and it is being the original pixel art made for this tile is being squished and put onto, like, masked over the flipping piece animation, which it ended up looking pretty clean, to be honest. Like, it just looks like what it would look like if someone drew that as squished, even though no one actually drew it. I just squished it by like 70% and then put it over the base animation. But maybe you're asking, how is this dialogue text working? What is going on there to make that work? And explaining it is a little tricky, even with all the fundamentals I gave you. It is using expressions, it's using code, it's using a sprite sheet of all of the letters. And by the way, these letters don't exist in this like small size in the original Othello World game. The reason it's in Japanese normally, and they can fit more information into the space with larger text, but to get these, I actually took them out of another game by the same developer, I think called like Vegas Knights or something, some gambling game, and I recolored them to look like the color palette of Othello World so I could have small text. And yeah, so these are like what's going on here? Okay, let's open all of this up. My God. It's getting the dimensions of the characters of the sprite sheet, the number of columns, the input text, converting it to uppercase. Yeah, well, I've taken 2 intro to CS classes now, but I hadn't before this. So this was a lot of paper pain. I mean, I knew like how programming works. Just like theoretically, but yeah, and if this letter isn't supposed to be seen, just move it to like position 1,000, 10,000, 10,000, so it's like way off screen. Easier than doing the opacity separately. Like where the text is stored. The text is just stored in this text layer, which is the most simple thing about it. Like I showed earlier, when you can like take what's in a text and make it show a variable, you can grab what's in text and set that as a variable. So this is just a regular old text layer. You can see the extra 2 spaces here. That's to line it up with like the way that this loops, which I did it kind of improperly. So like the B I think is off. Yeah, the B is off screen here because I did this kind of wrong. But to work around it, I just add spaces to make this loop. And it's also all like some variables are all being controlled by this, which I use to like fiddle with stuff, like the frame width, and where it's centered and like the kerning. You can see it's like it's looping on the edges like longer than the composition is supposed to be. So I had to kind of work around that. I think it would completely break if I tried to do it. Oh my god, I don't even know why this does that. It's got to be some. I think that if I did this with anything other than like 8x8 or 16x16 letters, it would completely break, like based on the logic of how I made this work. You can see that it's saying the characters present in the sprite sheet, number of columns, index of the character, and like what layer. All of these have the exact same code, by the way. They're basically all like individual units that check what layer they are, like if they're layer number 55, and then act based on that. So I could delete half of these and it would probably still work. Yeah, they all just like reassign their own jobs. It's so such an unwieldy way to do it, but it worked. It worked. So this is simple, right? This is just showing the range of like how much of the text is supposed to be shown at this point in time. And then if it's more than the index, which is this little layer number, a single code module and have individual units use it, that would be so nice, wouldn't it? I don't really, in my current understanding of After Effects, I'm not sure how that would work, but it's not like too bad because it renders a little slowly, but it's honestly not too bad because these are all like really tiny things, like they're 8x8 images. I bet if I was doing this for like a high quality font, it would be a lot worse. But the reason that I'm doing this is because it's not a high quality font. If it was just a font, I had to make a like a HD text, I would just probably like use one of those make font websites. But this is pixel art, so I have to have it be perfect. I can't make a TTF out of this. Composition parameters. I remember you showing me something like that. Like something about that. Or that you use that for like Wheatley in that Vauver video. But I never really looked into it, and I should. I do have to change all of them if I want to change something, but that's really not that hard because I can just do like click this and do like Control C and then select a bunch and do Control V, and it will update all of their expressions in the opacity. So that wasn't too bad because I would change one and then I would just paste it to the other ones, and it's like fine. But yeah, I mean, this worked, and it ended up working after some pain. So you can see here. You can do a lot of fun stuff. And I also did the thing I showed off at ChipSpace with a separate thing, which I somehow found a video for on YouTube. Where is that? Bad Rabbit. This video. Maybe I should do it at half. Yeah, it's Bad Apple. When I performed this at ChipSpace, I honestly just didn't think ahead, and the da 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 performance I thought of in 5 seconds. I was like, wait, I didn't practice what I would do for this part at all. I was focused on the other parts completely. Anyway, this is actually way simpler than it seems. It's using a specific thing that I found online that was like someone's wants to make like an LCD screen or like a laser pointer or something. or I don't know what the name would be, a dot matrix screen. Yeah, my computer isn't the greatest, so showing full previews sometimes is a problem. But this is that flipping piece composition I showed earlier, and it's basically just flipping through the time remap. Um, and let me go back into this. The thing that's below it is, where is this? Where is this? This, which is the real bad apple, just with like just squished to the dimensions of the board. And it's basically taking what if like how white or black the pixel is below it. And yeah, that's bad apple. Like if I squish it to 8x8 mosaic, and then so it's just looking at what's supposed to be below it and flipping through the time remap based on how white or black it is. So you can see that also works nicely for like the flipping pieces, because the flipping pieces just go like, okay, those are in the middle of the animation, and then it's gray, so, and they are kind of gray, so it works out. And it like definitely works fine for edges too. Yeah, that I'm really happy that I got it to flip, because I think that would be way less impressive if it was just like changing instantly between white and black. And like some of them do change instantly between white and black because they're just, you know, that pixel. But the edges being gray just because it's a scaled down video is really adding to the feeling, because you see the flips on the edges, and the illusion works pretty well. Dude, what? Okay, that wasn't real. You can tell there's something scuffed or cursed in this project file. You just saw a bunch of expression errors appear and then realized they were wrong, and all hurry out of there for a moment. Yeah, I know, for real. In fact, that's so true that I'm gonna replace the pin message. It's truly magical. Okay, is there any video like that I've made for probably Steve Gunner, or yeah, I don't know, anything else that will you would like me to open up and show? Pete did say golden ratio earlier. That would be interesting. You can do JS Code in Vegas. That sounds like a one-stop shop to just wanting to do something I can't say on a YouTube live stream. Maybe I will open up golden ratio. Maybe we're really doing this. Oh, like specific time, like, or like a script that's useful. Um, oh wait, yeah, I could show the MIDI import. Let's do that. And like that one MMaker video with scripts that show this is quite nice. Let's get that up here. Uh, let's put that on screen. Turn that off, and then let's get a screen capture going, and let's not make it visible immediately. And let's do window capture, and let's do this, and let's turn it on.
Hey, what's up? I'm Maker from YouTube.com, and welcome back to another very exciting YTPMV tutorial. Today, we are going to be creating Shuriken scan inside of After Effects.
Isn't that crazy? You can make Shuriken scan inside of After Effects. Let's hold on a sec. I just need to test if let me disable my After Effects screen capture and then turn that back on, and let's see if this, okay, this will show. So After Effects scripts, let's get a MIDI in here. I'm gonna get a MIDI file of, this is basically a script, so just imagine a pop-up of a little window that asks you what MIDI file to choose so far. Yeah, I mean, Vegas is an audio, this is not an audio editor, and Vegas is an audio editor too. That is an important distinction to make. This is a video editor and it has some audio effects and you can do like fades and stuff, but it is not meant for you to be making the video in there. Let's import My Funky Town from Deltarune. How relevant. How do I close this window? Maybe I just won't. Let's bring it back. I want to get rid of you. How do I do that? Ah, whatever. I'll just deal. Yeah, that's true. They do. My Funky Town, Deltarune. Let's get that open. It's called Castle Funk now, I know. I have imported the MIDI. Oh, sometimes it doesn't work so great. Like it only does like the first channel or something, and you gotta like re-import and re-export it. But you can see how it's created like keyframes. It even has the pitch, which is like the MIDI number. I think this is just showing the bass line. Anyway, I can do something like, if I wanted to like show what notes it's hitting like visually, maybe I could like keyframe it to this pitch and then like let's do like temp times, well, let's just not do that. Let's do temp plus 100. Maybe temp times 2 plus 100. Yeah, each keyframe is like a MIDI on-off message or whatever it's called. Um, let's put in a video. I need an MP4 file. Where is a good MP4 file to use? Oh, I could do something bad. I mean, I have plenty of bad MP4 files. The tempo is just based on what the original MIDI file was. It's not, because it's not relative to tempo, it's just placing stuff like in frames of seconds. Okay, let's put Mystic Gadagadi Gadagadago in here. And let's put a really shitty Let's throw them in there. And then that script that MMaker mentioned in the description, it's on a paste bin, and it's right here. You apply it to the time remap, and basically it's just an expression that replays it every time there's a new keyframe of any type in here, which will be every time there's a new note. So let's paste that in. Very cool. You can even make it do the screen flipping thing if you really want. I'll do it down here, I guess. So this is also how hold on, loading it up. This is also how I did the video for Ultimate Quality Achieved with Siva bouncing to the beat. I just had a bunch of like BPM files that were just like, yeah, you just refer to what's called in the, yeah. I had a bunch of like MIDI files that were just different BPMs that I made in FL, like 130 BPM.mid, and then I imported that and put them all in the same layer and had like a single Siva animation where he starts from the top and like eases down, and that just loops every time there's a note in the layer, which is every beat. So there you go. There is one that I did manually though. I just placed the keyframes. Where is it? Okay, where does it start? I don't know if it works with tempo changes. Maybe it does, but I honestly didn't try. What I know is that MIDIs don't support decimals, apparently. So, like, the format won't either. If you wanted to, though, you could, like, stretch it if your thing is a decimal. But, like, smoothly transitioning between two tempos might be harder. This is the part I did manually. Up here. Wait, shit, is this not showing on screen? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, I'm not used to this. I'm not a real streamer. My big greatest apologies. I thought that this window was showing, but I had to enable it. I'm not used to this. Don't yell at me. It was here. This is it.
So this is
I'm finding it. Thank you, Victor. It did not go unappreciated that you said that. In fact, I think what I did is I like exported a MIDI from FL from of strong one where I put like kicks um every beat and then exported that and looked at the waveform and lined them up with that or something like that. What GPU do I have? Well, I have a Mac, Apple M2. I don't know. I have 24 gigs of memory. I don't really know anything else about computer specs. It's a MacBook Pro. It's a 13-inch M2 from 2022. What other videos could I show? Plenty of videos, probably. And I gotta turn this off again. I gotta remember that. Oh my god, is this even gonna work or is it just gonna like scream at me? I mean, yeah, this is all in 3D. It's happening in 3D. Those coordinates that you see next to him are based on his real position values, and like I showed earlier, they're just um they just print the numbers. I think that that would should be pretty like straightforward to understand with how I explained how these work earlier, but I can show the actual expression if I can click on this thing or find it. I think I forgoed showing these a lot during the actual video though because like it was getting like visibly crowded. Oh, and also I ran into like a nasty bug that was making them completely break. I think it was, but it was like based on one of my fonts. Like I downloaded a sketchy font and it just completely screwed my whole font library. That scared me for a bit. That was making After Effects basically non-functional. So if that happens to you, check if you've downloaded like shady fonts with like broken headers or something weird like that. Um, but yeah, it's doing crazy stuff, but it's just printing his position. There are ways you can look on Reddit for, solutions. That's about as much as I want to say. What's another thing I could show off? I'm searching for .aep files now. I've made plenty of videos. Ooh, puppeting. I should show puppeting. Totally. Let me just I need to clear my cache for a second. Actually, there's come on. Check this out. I run with a 500 gigabyte disk cache, and it could get filled up as to that much when I open big projects like that, which was, pretty big. Yeah, puppeting is so fun. Let's go back into my folder of goodies and see if there's Adobe Cat. Let's add puppet points to this cat. I can do this. It's going like, ouch, ouch. Hey, don't do that. Yeah, I should ping someone. This is so freaking sad. Why is it doing that? It's not showing? What? Okay, now it's gonna be. Okay. Uh I'm I'm sorry, guys. I'm not good at this whole streaming thing. I'm not used to all these layers in OBS. But hopefully it should show. So this is the puppet tool, and is it showing? Yes, it's showing. Here's this Adobe cat. Let's put puppet pinpoints on here. And give me a second. Okay. This is what I was saying. It's going like, ouch. Hey, don't do that to me. You can do all sorts of things with the puppet tool. This is probably what Syriac used for all of his videos. And you can, of course, keyframe that. So I think I already have keyframes for all of these starter puppet pins. But then I can do that. Oh, wait, my bad. You gotta sort of click right. You gotta do that. And let's paste it again. A lot of fun you can have with this. Easy ease is basically just turning on Bezier temporal, like it's just adding a curve to the time like I showed earlier. It's making it's like ease in and out of certain animations. It's like a preset kind of. An easy thing to click on. Can this cat break down into atoms? Yes. With one of these funny distortion things. Let's do what's a fun one? Simulation. There's all sorts of fun effects that I didn't show just because it's like you figure them out on your own. But scatter eyes. Now I have broken this cat down into atoms. Twist it. Wow, that's wild. I can even oh, I should show adjustment layer is a useful thing. It's if you ever use Photoshop, it's kind of like that. You can put effects on the adjustment layer and they affect everything that's below them. So that means that you can put multiple, you know, adjustments at once and it just affects everything that's below. If I put it below the dog, it'll not affect the dog. If I put it below the cat, it won't affect either of them. If I move the adjustment layer, it only affects the stuff that's, you know, below its purview. Quite useful stuff. I could, like, pixel them. Oh, this is fun. This is a fun thing I do. If I want, like, the aspect ratio of the pixels to remain consistent, but I just want one, I do, like, I do an expression that where the vertical takes from the horizontal but multiplies it by 108 over 192, which is like 1920 times 1080. It's like the same sort of, you feel me, you get how that works. Now I'm just playing with effects. I already did that. Shatter. View. Whoa. Rendered. Whoa. That's wild. What is happening here? That's crazy stuff. I use that in the parts that I did for Save the World 2 Undertale 2. This is a pretty great video. Let's look for displacement map. Yeah, displacement map is cool. It's just kind of hard to explain how it works. Very interesting though. Emboss. Well, that's just Photoshop. Stylize. That's, yeah, this is all just, that's a lot of Photoshop type stuff. Turbulent displace, the classic. I've definitely used this in a handful of videos. Or perhaps split. Do you like the idea of that? Maybe you won't in a second. Gridler. Oh, I guess that's what that does. Poor cat, bro. CC hair. Oh yeah, that's what I did for episode 3B of Ends Here, Ends Now. The classic episode where Vogger turns into hair. Okay, that's not that useful, but okay, I guess. Let's add a wiggle. Should show the wiggle expression, which is kind of like S shake, except it looks different. Frequency, let's say 20 times per second, and amplitude, how far it goes, let's say 50 pixels, 100 pixels. Yeah, there you go. And if I made it 3D, it would affect the Z dimension too. So it's like sort of going in and out. If I could do wiggle 180, no, that's the frequency. Sorry, once every 2 seconds, and then 180. Yeah, no plugin needed. And it's very easy to manipulate. Let's add some puppet tool. Crazy, I can just do this when it's 3D too. Like, do that. Isn't that wild? Just completely arbitrary pointing. Let's get this dumb dog out of the way. Very cool. Oh, that's not useful for this. Simple choker. Yeah, that's useful. Let's do something fun with this. Mosaic. Let's make it just one horizontal block, one vertical block. Come on. Better than this. Very cool. See how much this goes in by. Oh yeah, easy. Oh, that didn't quite work. Yeah, this is After Effects, guys. You can do stuff like this if you want. And all that to a single picture of the kitty. So let's loop this for a second while I look up something. Oh yes, you can make 360-degree videos. There's a setting for that. I don't really feel like showing it now, but I did rip using that feature. It's called Senatus from Last Bible 3, and you can look that up. In fact, I can even link it in the chat right now. Yep, you can. I did not make that. Someone else made that rip. I know, I don't really know what Cinema 4D is other than it's like its own separate 3D program that you can integrate with After Effects. I really just have never touched it. Like I think I looked at it once in 2018 and just was like, no, I don't want to do this. You can import OBJ files into After Effects though, as of like the beta of 2024 and like the new 2025. You can do that, which I actually took advantage of for a Portal 2 rip, I think, once. Yeah, it's just sort of there, and you just either you are one of the people who uses it or you don't care at all. And you can tell where I land on that. Yeah, with After Effects, you can just make absolutely enriching stuff like except for that transition. That was a genuine CapCut transition. I'm not one of those people who's gonna like like, you know that, okay, you know that iMovie text overlay. Yeah, this one, you know the one. Whenever I see that, like, remade in, like, a real title generate, like video editing program, I get pissed off. Because you can't remake it perfectly, and we can all tell that you did it in a real program, so it's just inauthentic. It doesn't quite get it. If I want a CapCut effect, I'm gonna go into CapCut on my phone, and I'm gonna put this video I just made in After Effects, and I'm gonna screen record it because I don't have CapCut Pro, and the rest of the video is gonna be a screen recording of that CapCut thing that happened. Same thing with iMovie. If it needs to be iMovie, it's gonna be iMovie. I'm not settling for an inauthentic thing made by someone who doesn't have an Apple device. Yeah, I know. I know. There lies the funny part is that I'm criticizing people, but that you need an Apple device for that. So like, I get it. I get it. I guess if you have an iPhone, then it's the same on your phone, I think. But this is authentic iMovie, dude. The joke is even an iMovie song. This was also After Effects sleight of hand. I do also think my screen recording was kind of compressed, but I managed to fit it into exactly the right pixel size of V6's resolution, and then I scaled it down, so it worked out. You can kind of see the quality is a little crap if you zoom in. And also, as he moves down here, I think that I like transition between the lighter color. It's you literally can't tell from this, but like I keyframe between the colors. And then this is Tosinen's animation that is just fantastic. And the rest of that's just a looped screen recording or something. Oh man, yeah, please go to sleep if it's 1:30. Yeah. This might not be going for too much longer anyway, because I kind of covered all the bases that I wanted to. But yeah, take care, man. Glad he could stop by. I'm glad he liked the video. And then this is mostly like Keyboy Eye and RH and Chicken, among other people. But I did do these like side scrolling sections. This is fun. If you can guess how this was made, and a hint, it is okay, it's using parenting and it's using a simple expression. Yeah, well, we already know this. This is already a known fact about this riff, about who made it. If you can guess how this was done, I congrats, and I'll do, maybe I'll do something cool, or maybe I won't. I still have some prizes that I need to give other people for other things right now, but it was very easy to make this with the specific way I did it. Hey, that's that scatter animation we saw before. And RH made that. This part is so funny. Yeah, it is. It is. So it's just, you guessed it correctly. The body pieces are all parented to the ones below them, but then the expression is just copying the same rotation value. So like that the rotation isn't just like, each of these are like rotated -3 degrees relative to their parent, which is just the segment below them. And they all are using the same variable for that rotation. It's a very fun and easy way to make like a sort of snake type creature. Oh, this actually uses a feature I haven't shown really yet, so I'll show it. Let's get out of here. Is motion sketch. You can sketch the motion, like if you're dragging something on a screen to show, or like you want to make like a fake cursor, perhaps in a fake UI in some fictional universe, you can do that. So like I could do this. Makes it really authentic for some stuff. And you can do crazy stuff with that too. Like I could like be controlling like some levels like in some fake UI that are like some whatever levels, like some bar showing a percentage and it's going up and down and up and down. And I could control it using the Y. In fact, I'll show that right now. Let's make like this number and then like tie it to, wait, that's not what I meant to do. That's not what I meant to do. Got around that, math that around. In position 1 actually. Or actually, yeah, it is position 0. And this is like some, like I could crank up a value or crank down a value. Yeah, how doing that in Vegas sounds quite scary. It's not really smoothing it very much. It's mostly just like, if it is smooth, I guess it technically should be smoothing because it's some of these are interpolating the keyframes, but it's doing it in a way that looks exactly like how I did it. So I guess it's only doing keyframes where it's necessary or when has like a more drastic move. Oh yeah, there is a little smoothing button, I guess. Let's try that out. If I turn smoothing up, let's see what happens. I guess that's slightly smoother. I might need to turn it up more to make it be a visible difference. Yeah, that is visible, and you can see there's less keyframes. It would be jerkier if it was raw, and I can make it raw probably if I'd set it to 0, I bet. Yeah, see, okay. Then that's just 1 keyframe per second. So cool. So nice to use. So convenient for so many things. All these panels are... I didn't really talk about how like maneuver your way around the program, but like you can look that up, you know. Just open up some of these. They're in the windows too. You can open up any of these. Align is useful. Align to left, align to center, align to right, align to bottom, align to absolute center. I can distribute layers equally. Like if I have like 5 of these doggies, but I want them to be like evenly arranged. Then let's center them and then distribute horizontally. And now, hey, look at that. They're evenly arranged. I can distribute horizontally, distribute vertically. Well, oh, that's quite interesting. It's screwed up a little bit. Very cool. Very, very cool. Let's make one of these puppies evil. The sky's the limit, honestly, with expressions like this. They're really, really so useful, and I just like I want to see more people making visual videos, and that includes rips. If you're making rips, yeah, make some visual rips. How do I do an object removal edit? That's basically like, that's just like photoshopping. That goes in the Photoshop, which is like using content aware fill and stuff. But then you would like motion track your content aware fill on um on the video, and then like fade out the edges. There's a great video, Empty World, by someone who's like 1 million billion times better at After Effects than me, and you should just watch this because it is saying how to do that exact thing. Okay, let's see. Is there something else that would be reasonably useful to explain? This doesn't seem like it takes much to explain. I could open the Matrix video. Kind of interesting. Kind of straightforward. It's text. I think this little thing where the numbers change is just like an actual built-in effect in After Effects because people think that you're going to make Matrix type videos, and I guess they were right. Um, hold on a sec. Okay. What else? What else? Maybe I should show my tab that I'm looking through. Just showing if there's anything it's like interesting to explain that I haven't covered yet, or like, because I remade the Haltman's archives. That can work in After Effects now. And extremely straightforward to do that. I timed stuff to the end. I like used expressions to make the ending animation happen at any time. There's just so much you can do. Okay, a lot of these are not visual. Maybe I should just end it here. Those are After Effects. I feel like I don't want to show it though. It just feels like weird to show on stream. But yeah, I did the recent Haltman archives. I helped with the video and videos, and those are all 100% After Effects. Like, recreated off of base that in Sony Vegas to exact, precise precision of numbers and all that, so that it looks perfect. And that really helped for like that performance review where I had to make like custom UI elements and stuff. That was tricky. In case there's nothing else. Any last calls for anything ever? How do I turn this off? I think I was showing something that didn't exist anymore. I could open up Ehan. Let's do that. I suspect that some of it will not work anymore. Um, but let's open up episode 6 and see what happens. Oh God, man. This is this is 5 years ago me. Almost to the day, because it's about to be June 10, 2025. Just shooting above his what's the phrase? 61 files are missing since he last saved. Shooting above his pay grade or stature or oh my God, this is the square version that I used for that one image. I called them after mixed names. This, yeah, there it is. There's the inside of this. Making Valor Lord videos is okay, TTGD smiling is gone and is just a oh my God, dude. Where is everyone? If I make a new camera. If I make a new camera, I think I'm inside the lighthouse. I am. And that's an environment. That's like it's sort of like a banner or like a 360 area. I didn't really do it very well, but the background is this guy with an environment. Yeah. Let's go over there. Let's go over and see the crowd. I just know that I'm gonna have to clear my cache after this, and it's gonna be like 300 gigabytes or something ridiculous like that. Wow, very cool. Yeah, here it is. Wild times. I okay, in like 2018 to 2019 is when I first was learning After Effects, and it was to make like a dumb Marvel parody with my friends at school. I say with my friends, but it was me making the video and roping them into it. Of like Avengers Infinity War. And yes, it's brute force. Literally just brute force throwing myself at this program, not understanding how to do anything of the layout, and going crazy over it and not meeting my own deadline that I set for myself, but learning a lot more stuff along the way. And I mean, I've learned a lot of stuff since this too. This 2020, I've like a lot of stuff. Did not know. It's kind of wild that I did this in 2020 though, but it's definitely there's some stuff that would take me much less time to do now. That's true. Yeah, I mean, you don't need. I learned most of my stuff through brute force. Well, okay, most. Some stuff I learned just by watching other people do it or looking it up or reading an actual guide. But it is possible to learn something just by ramming it through your head and not letting go even when it's really frustrating to understand. And it oh my God, dude, the way that Omega Ray is 3D is actually demented. If I can find him here, oh my God. Okay, it's inside. It's like inside 3 layers. There's a little button, um, like here that lets you pop out a composition so that it's not like if you put one comp inside another, so it's not a flat screen, it's everything outside of the frame. What's the easiest way to show this? If I turn this off, it becomes a flat screen. But now this is the 3D object that it is. This is so many layers, 2D layers of flat images that are constantly being rotoscoped out of the original Formair video. So I didn't render like a green screen or anything. It's just it's rotoscoping these live out of the video, or masking it or whatever. And then the front is like, oh my god. Yeah, the front is the TV masked out, and then it like goes down. That's a little bit of depth, and then it's just not good to do it this way. But it's the only way I know how to do it. Yeah, look, you can actually see like, it thins out. You can also see that when Volver does his, like, rainbow blast, that you could see the insides of it in the middle, like, thin out, because you looked right on the side. It is it's horrible. And it actually made this take days to render. Even, okay, granted, I had a shittier computer back then. I had a computer with 250 gigs of storage space. I have a 2 terabyte one now. This was before Apple M2, whatever. This was a computer from 2019, like a MacBook. It actually took like multiple days to render this episode. Because of my computer and because of the poor, like, just horribly inefficient way I did this. But it's, when I approach a problem, sometimes I don't figure out a more efficient way. I just do it with the knowledge that like, the stuff that I know, and, it works. It did work. It worked in a really, really horrible way. Yeah, there are you can add spotlights into 3D environments. I should have mentioned that. Lights are useful. At least this is simple. This is dead bar. It's just like, they're just wiggling. My god. Throw back to finishing some of this in, like, McDonald's Wi-Fi on a road trip. Like, actually making these credits in 10 minutes. That was the crunchiest crunch of all time. It did work at delaying it to July. Yeah, that did help, I think, to make me able to do the other stuff and the true ending and everything. It helped that timing work. Yeah, and you can see this is just the whole video rotoscope, so it just, like, is just that part of the box. Look at this is so dumb. 3D look at that. Okay, I think that this is an appropriate spot to end my stream. This is this is the pinnacle of me showing, hey, I know After Effects. Well, or the original pinnacle of that. And if you're wondering, the Volver talking animations in lore are all based on, like, the audio volumes, at least the way that I do it. Some people do it manually, and it is way more expressive and nice looking. But I was lazy, so I started doing it this way for Ehen, so that I can do a lot of dialogue of, like, an hour's worth. And not spend so much time, like, scaling him up and down for every word. Yeah, what the fuck is wrong with me? Oh, there you go. Hope you learned something. If you want me to show something else, I can. And later, maybe. And I still need to make a better Melodyne stream, because I think I chose a pretty poor selection of sources for the previous one. A ripping stream would be good. Yeah, with Melodyne. But anyway, thanks for watching. Appreciate you showing up. Take care. Peace. Goodbye.